Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the Black Carnivore podcast. And I am really excited to bring back a guest who I had on a long time ago, who we had a delightful conversation, but the sound wasn't great. And I always knew I wanted to have her back and hear more. So we have Claudette, who is Cute Lady Corporal, I think, on Instagram. Is that right? Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah. So we're going to talk all things today, how carnivore is progressing for her. She recently had knee replacement surgery, so how, what her recovery is like, and we're going to hear everything. So let's just dive right in.
Well, let's see. So I have been playing with carnivore and keto for probably now, about 3 years now, where even if I go off, I come back to one or the other. Carnivore and keto have pretty much kept me under 300 pounds. I would normally, like, my highest weight was 385, and I was always once I'd hit a certain weight, things would happen, and I was always fluctuating back and forth and would go back up. It was nothing for me to get to 300 and then be back up to 350 within a couple months. So, what has happened over the last 3 years, which has been really nice, is I have been staying under 300 pounds. I, even though that's still a lot of weight, I've been able to stay under and be good with that. I'm comfortable and I know I can do better. I have, I am, I think this last year I've realized how much of a carb addict I am. And I've really been working on that part of me, being able to make sure that I don't go to cakes and cookies and bread and all that stuff when I get down and when something happens. And I've been doing a lot better. I recently, just last year, I did hypnotherapy. And I really feel like that helped a lot. I was able to really come to grips with a lot of things that I do when it comes to food.
So
So
wait, what does hypnotherapy entail, or what's that about? I don't
I
know anything
had
about that.
someone was able to put me under hypnosis and actually give me like processes in, we did it over a 2-month period where he would give me processes to think about, well, things I don't want to eat, sugar, carbs, sweets, soda. The soda has been a big challenge, but at least I still only do diet Pepsi, but I'm getting much better with it. But it was mainly just to sort of help me recognize that there are things that I do. I I just do it, and with the hypnotherapy and now with really focusing on carnivore, I'm starting to get better. I'm starting to get better mentally. I think for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's more psychological, and I do a lot of things because I get depressed or because I just get upset with something, and then I go to food, but I don't go to good foods. Who does? I go to all the candies and the cookies and the cakes. So I've gotten a lot better with it. And I
Mm-hmm.
definitely have been determined since I had the surgery that I'm going to make sure I keep it going because
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying not to take a lot of pain medicine and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So this has helped with, definitely, I feel like it's helped with the inflammation
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. But I've been very determined that I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing. I talk more about it with people. People ask me what I'm doing, and I'm just like, this is what I'm doing. And this
Mhm.
is it. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. Don't tell me that I'm doing the wrong thing. I don't care what you say because I'm doing it for me, not for anybody else. I can't. I used to
Mhm.
do things like that. Someone would tell me, no, you should just eat a little bit of this. Just eat a little bit. It's not going to hurt you. And two
Mhm.
days later, after I've eaten the whole thing, it's, I'm the one that's sick. And they're like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. No, it's not okay. It's not
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. So you're really standing your ground, and that's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. And I'm realizing how important it is, especially, I do admit, with having this surgery has really made me realize how much damage I've done to my body over the years. Because
Mhm.
when we saw the x-rays for my knees, I didn't realize how bad it was until we looked at the x-rays. And over the course of a couple of years, my knees had started to bow in. And I guess I don't know what I thought, but
Uh-huh.
I knew that I couldn't stand for a period of time without being in serious pain. I couldn't go walk in the mall. I couldn't go walk up the street. I couldn't do any of that without being in serious pain. But it wasn't until I saw it, and now that he's done one knee and straightened out my leg, how badly I was walking.
Mhm.
And I've really, I've just messed myself up. I've messed my body up, and I have a lot of healing to do. So when I
Mhm.
look at the scale now, I go, you know what? As long as I know I'm eating right, I'm good, because I know for a fact I've got a lot of healing to do. I got lots of it.
Yeah.
And so if I figure, if long as I'm giving my body what it needs, I'm gonna be okay.
Mhm. Well, I mean, maintaining a loss of what, 85, 100 pounds is, I mean, that's significant.
It's significant for me because I realized
Yeah.
that I didn't used to be able to maintain it. I
Yeah.
didn't. It used to be where within a month I've gone back over the 300 mark. I just, it was just happened. Christmas holidays, I'd be gone back. I'd be at 350 by the time January was over. You know,
Well, what happened this time? We're now in the end of February, but what happened this past holiday season? What did you do differently?
I was better with telling people that I wasn't going to do it. That I just couldn't. And with this holiday being the way it was, as family, we weren't around each other because of the
Right.
pandemic. We weren't around each other like that. We really were into being in our own spaces. We would see each other on Zoom, or we'd see each other, talk to each other, but we weren't around each other like that. So everybody was sort of cooking in their own spaces. So I could cook whatever I wanted to cook for the holidays,
Hmm.
and I didn't really have to worry about it. Or I was cooking with I have a niece in the area, so we would cook together. But she's more like, well, if you don't eat it, it's no need to cook it. She's very much into, how are you eating? Tell me what you eat, and I'll make sure that we cook exactly what you can eat. So we did it that way, and it really helped. And even now I can tell my family pretty much this is how I'm eating, and they're fine now
Hmm.
because they see me. My son looks at me and he says how he's recognized how I thrive when I'm eating this way. And for him to say that was like that eye opener. It was like, oh, I am
Yeah.
different when I'm eating like this. And he says that he's like, you're so much happier, and you talk so much more, and you're doing things when you're eating this way. He says, I don't understand why you stop. And and I'll go, okay.
See, that's when you know some significant change has happened. When family who's been, resistant actually sees what you're like otherwise,
Hmm.
then then they're all on board.
Yeah.
I've definitely had clients tell me, their family will say, hey, you seem awfully irritable and cranky. Like, should we buy you some steak? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why are you not eating that way?
Hmm. And
Yeah.
once I had the surgery, like they've been pretty much trying to, like, my niece, she'll come by and she'll drop off meat. Like she bought me, like, I babysat for her before the surgery. It was like the weekend before the surgery. And so she was like, here's for babysitting for me. She bought me this huge T-bone steak. I was like, well, thank you very much. I was
That's
like,
awfully
yeah, I
nice.
like this. But yeah, I've just gotten to the point now where I realize I do feel better. I mentally I'm better, physically I'm better, and I just need to recognize that this is really good for me. And now in this situation, I want to heal the best way possible. My goal is by this summer that I'm walking the track again.
Mhm.
And I know to do that, I really have got to make sure that I'm healing well. And
Mhm.
I figure I'm not gonna worry about the scale. I'm just gonna, as long as I know I'm eating right, then I'm good. And
Mhm.
I've made so many broths, and I've learned how to cook so many different types of meat. And I do lots of broth soups and
Mhm.
collagen and all types of stuff. I've things
Yeah.
that I never would have even thought about doing. But I have my refrigerator stocked with stuff I could
Nice.
just throw in the microwave, have me a soup or whatever, and call it a day.
Excellent. So when we last spoke, I think that was like in June or even May, you were just starting carnivore, right?
Hmm. That was the
So,
year before last. Yeah, it wasn't last year.
well, it was
Was it last year?
2020.
Wow, that was last year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
wow.
that was when we spoke. I'm
Okay.
trying to remember when you started carnivore, but I remember we were speaking because you were concerned that you weren't losing weight, but
Yeah.
then realized you were losing inches.
Right.
So I'm wondering how, what happened from there? How did you feel from there?
Well, I think I just more or less, like, even now, I just look at my clothes. I don't. I
Mhm.
I look at the scale because, like, even now when I go to the doctor, for when they do the surgery and stuff, they put you on the scale,
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh, I don't want to see the scale. But like, I was really supposed to have this surgery. I had to be they wanted me to be like 260. And I've been hovering around 270, 280. And he went ahead and did it anyway. And he even said to me after the surgery, he said it was a rough surgery, but he said it wasn't because of my weight. It was just because of all the damage that was really done.
Mhm.
And so he told me, he said, for the next surgery, if I can stay, as long as I don't go up, I'm good. So I'm just, I know I need the weight to come off, but
Mhm.
I know it's just gonna have to come off in its time. As long as I know, I just keep in my head, did you eat right? Are you eating right?
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
and making sure that that's what I'm doing. And I'm hoping that once I have the second surgery and I can start going to the pool and exercising and doing stuff like that, that then the
Mhm.
weight will come off too. But I know now with all the medicine and stuff they're putting in me, and they're asking, I just stopped taking ibuprofen because I said I want to see if just doing this plan and putting ice will that help with the inflammation
Mm-hmm.
instead of me taking medication for it? I wanted to see what actually will happen if I'm just eating right, eating
Mm-hmm.
the carnivore way, and just using ice for it. See if
Mm-hmm.
that will help with the inflammation. Because I'm like, I'm still stiff no matter what, no
Yeah.
matter what. I'm still swollen. So I said, well, let's see what happened if I stop taking the medication and just
But
see.
my mom had knee replacement, and they told her you got to take the pain medication because you have to do the physical therapy, and so you need it to like get through that.
Well, my thing is I'm in pain whether I take the pain medicine or not. When
Mm.
your physical therapy is serious, like
Yeah.
they be moving stuff, and I'm trying to figure out how you think that's gonna move like that. But
Yeah.
I'm in pain the day after. I'm in complete pain,
Yeah.
and I have a high tolerance for pain, so I'm like, well, do I really need the medicine, or do I just need to keep it iced up? So that's this week has been my
Both.
experience. Yeah.
Both. I
you know,
don't know. It seems more important to be able to do all the physical therapy because
yes,
you don't want to lose any range of motion or anything
right.
like that.
And so far,
But
my range of motion is getting pretty good. Like it started off
excellent.
at 60, and now I'm at 90 something. Really, it's interesting because I think I have
Nice.
better range of motion now
Yeah.
than I did before the surgery.
Yeah.
So I said, well, let's just see how it works this week. I have one more physical therapy this week. We'll see how it works, and then I'll make a decision whether to try it.
Well, I'm really excited. I mean, wow, this is amazing.
But I'm really, I just decided I
Yeah.
need to do it. I need to do it. I need to stick to it. And like right now, this week has been birthday week for my son and my niece.
Uh-huh. Happy
And I
birthday to them.
I bought my son a cake. I bought my niece a cake. They have eaten their cakes, and I haven't had anything. Didn't even want it. So I'm like, and what I've done though is learn that when I want something special to eat, if I can afford it, I buy it. I don't just say, oh, I can't afford that steak or I can't afford
Mm-hmm.
that seafood. If I want it, because I don't eat all the stuff that they eat, if I want it, then I splurge and I buy it for myself.
Yeah,
And
I'm starting to do that too. I've been buying scallops. I mean, they're
mhm,
ridiculously
yeah.
expensive, but I just decided, you know what? I'm not I'm my food budget is way down from what it used to be. So, let me just have it.
And see, and my son has gotten to the point where he's he's in his last year of college and he's working, and so he'll buy things that he wants. Like I
Mhm.
buy like the bulk of the groceries, but
Mhm.
I don't have to buy groceries like I used to. So I spend my little extra money on like the scallops that I want, or if I want a special kind of fish, or I want that special steak that I saw and it was huge, and I'm like, I want it.
Yeah.
So I just went ahead and I just decided to splurge on things like that instead of saying, okay, let me buy some ice cream,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
let me buy myself a candy bar. I splurge on the meat, and I do that for myself.
Mhm. Nice. Excellent. So, from when we last talked, did you continue to lose or were you maintaining? How did that go?
I've been pretty much maintaining. I really haven't
Mhm.
lost anything. I think I gained some for a little bit, then I've lost again. But
Mhm.
I think with just everything going on, I really caught myself right before the holidays, like by September. It was like September, August, September. I started just going off plan completely
Mhm.
again. And I said, you know what, I got to get this together. And then as my pain threshold started going up, I started going off plan. And once I made
Wait, what does that mean?
well, when
So
my
as you
the
were
pain,
experience,
as
go
I
ahead.
was experiencing pain in my knees and it started getting worse and worse, I would go off plan because I would, I'm that type of person who things like that make me eat. And it
Mm-hmm.
is, I would go out of my way to get something that I know I shouldn't be eating.
Mm-hmm.
But I've gotten, it's like something hit, and now it's been on plan since September, since October.
Mm-hmm.
I have been on plan. I've lost a little bit, but nothing major. I've lost inches. I can tell that in my clothes. I can tell that in my face.
Mm-hmm.
there's certain ways I can tell I know when I've lost, but I'm trying not to even dwell on it, because I couldn't exercise before. So now I'm going, ooh, I keep thinking of what's getting ready to happen. That's why I'm like, go ahead, do both knees. Just do
Yeah.
both knees in this little bit of time, and let me get to that point where now I can go walking, I can go exercise, I can go to the track, I can go to the pool. All those things that I took for granted, I just want to get back to doing, because I had not,
Yeah.
for the last year and a half, I haven't been able to do any of those things.
Yeah.
Even being on plan, I haven't been able to do those things because my pain was just so high. So I am just looking forward to being able to do this, along with being able to I just want to go walk a mile. I'm telling
Mm-hmm.
anyone that I just want to go walk a mile around a track. That's all I want to do. I would be the
Yeah.
happiest person in the world.
But
So
it's interesting what you say, that you've been able to maintain like 100-pound weight loss, even with some cheats,
mhm,
without any exercise. Like
yes,
I think that's pretty amazing.
and I
Most
feel
people are
good
coming
about
out of quarantine 50 pounds heavier.
it. and
Yeah.
and I was trying. I literally was trying to make sure that didn't happen, because I know I could have.
Mm-hmm.
But especially since it wasn't like the grocery stores were closed. You could get to the store, you could order anything from Amazon. So, but I was really focused and trying not to. But
Mm-hmm.
I really have been proud of myself, because I really have not gone crazy, because I knew that I could be up there, back up at 400 pounds. I'd be hurting, but I could get there. And even
Yeah.
with the doctor, with the surgery that I had, if I had been at 300 pounds, I wouldn't have been able to have that type of surgery, because the surgery I had was a little less invasive.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to go in same day, come home the same day. No
Oh.
tubes coming out of my legs,
Mhm.
no stitches. It was glued. And other people have said they've had the staples and the tubes coming
Mhm.
out, coming home with the tubes in their legs. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
didn't have to do any of that. And that was because of where I was with my weight.
Yeah.
So I was really proud of myself that I actually did. Staying down meant something.
Yeah.
So I'm really just I'm waiting till the summer comes, and I'm like, I can get outside and I can
You're gonna
walk.
be out there doing double dutch and dancing your butt off at the
I just
street
want to be
fairs.
able to stand and not be
Yeah.
hurting from my head to my feet.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to. But I have to admit, my son and my niece have been really good with making me feel really good about what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And they will remind me all the time of how well they've recognized that I thrive off of doing carnivore,
Yeah.
and they see my emotionally, they see how well I'm doing. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I just have to realize that it, all that other stuff doesn't mean as much. I prefer meat, and it's working for me. It's really working for me.
Yeah. Excellent. So happy about that. Now, the other thing that I thought it was interesting about what you were saying is that when you were in pain and feeling a lot of pain, like you would go, that's when you would most likely, go for the foods and the sweet foods and fall off your program. And so I've done a couple of episodes about sugar addiction and emotional eating.
Hmm.
And the second live stream I did with Arian, I was going through the notes that I took at an emotional eating conference that I attended online, and that was one of the things that was really interesting to me is that these foods provide not only a dopamine boost, but a serotonin boost and an endorphin boost. And so things like feeling physical pain are going to be improved by eating some of these sugary processed foods because it gives you that endorphin boost. And so that made me think, man, some of those times when I was like literally feeling pain, like my body was hurting from carrying around all these different kinds of foods. That's part of the reason why I went for those sugary foods. And
Hmm.
that's exactly what you're describing as well. So, for anybody who's watching this, I encourage you to go look at the emotional eating part two live stream that I did with Arian and listen to that because I really went into the notes and in the science of it, and it was really, really amazing.
And it's true. It's like whenever that was always my go-to, was
Hmm.
whenever I'd feel bad or whenever I was hurting, just give me some ice cream. Just give me some ice cream and I'll be good, And I always thought I felt better. But I do admit now that I've been doing carnivore, when I do go for something like that, I feel it in my body the next day. I hurt
Hmm.
so bad the next day that it really has made me go, no, I can't do this.
Yeah.
One the second week, this is week 3. So the second week of my surgery, a girlfriend came over and she took me out in the car, we're riding around, and I was like, you know what? Let me get some sugar-free candy. I did not know. I didn't realize that I forget what the sugar is that's in sugar-free candy. It's
Oh, erythritol or
yeah.
xylitol or sorbitol or maltitol, one of the sugar alcohols.
The next day, I had like 3 or 4 pieces of that candy. The next day, my knee was hurting so bad,
Mm.
and I took that candy and I I put that candy in the trash. So I was
Wow.
like, no way, no way. I can't even do that. I can't do that to myself. But it's things like that that I hadn't really thought about. I know it's not carnivore, but I know that's more of a keto. But even that was that was really hurt. It hurt to eat it. And I
Hmm.
was like, it's a feeling that I don't want to have, and
Hmm.
I'd rather just I'd rather eat something, just go in the refrigerator and get something that I can cook, and instead of getting anything that's going to make me retain water, because
But see,
that.
that's a really important connection to make because I think a lot of times we eat the food and we feel better, for 20 or 30 minutes. And so that's the connection that we make that this food makes us feel better. But we're not making the connection that 12 hours later we feel a lot worse. And
Mhm.
that's the thing with these foods is that, you might gain 10, but you lose 100. you
Yes.
know, when you spread the time out further. And so there's like a big net loss by eating these foods. So now that you've made that connection, it makes it so much easier for you to
Yes.
stick with it.
Because it took about 3 or 4 days, even taking medication, for the inflammation to go down from that candy.
Wow. So that's 3 or 4 days. That's a big amount of
That's a
time
big
there.
deal. It was a big deal because
And
we're
that
talking
slows your
the healing
your
process and
healing.
everything down.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh no, that won't happen again.
So that
No,
took
not
3 days off of June.
yes.
3 days that you could be out there walking, dancing, hanging out,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's I said no. I looked at my son and I said, if I bring anything like this in the house, please look at me and say, remember when,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And he will. He'll tell me that he will do
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah. Excellent. Wow, you are just doing amazing. I am so impressed.
I'm trying. I'm trying to really make this work for me. And I know that it can.
Mhm.
Like I don't have problems with my sugar. I don't have problems with, when I go to the doctor and they ask me, they're like, what medications are you on? And I say none. They look at me and they're shocked. I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm not on anything. I'm not,
Mhm.
I'm no longer pre-diabetic. I don't have high blood pressure. Only thing wrong with me right now is these knees. And
Mhm.
and that's what I want to get fixed. And they're
Mhm.
really shocked when they hear me say no medication.
Yeah.
So and I'm being that I am 55, I will be 56 in April. And at this time, my mother at the same age was suffering from everything. She had high blood pressure. She was pre-diabetic. She had really bad arthritis. She had already had a heart attack. She a couple years later she had a stroke. So I know what could
What's to
happen if
come?
I don't get things together. Because
Yeah.
I was the youngest of all the kids. And I was the one that even my siblings say how I follow like everything that was going on in her life. And I'm so much like her, and so I know what could happen. And I'm trying to make sure that I just want to grow old gracefully. That's all I want to do. But I'm just trying to make sure that I really can keep everything under control,
Mhm.
and not being on any medications and not having that cabinet full of medications that I got to take.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's what it's all about, you know. The whole point of eating this way is not, just to eat this way, but it's to get to the point where we can live our lives and do the things that we're really passionate about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a lot
So
of things I
you're
want to do.
yeah, well, what are those things? Let us know.
Yeah, I want to get my passport because I've never gone out of the country. So I was like, I want to go out of the country. I want to go on cruises. I want to be able to walk to places, go places with friends and be able to walk and be able to do things and not be like, "Oh, I got to sit down. Give me an hour and maybe I can do this." And it's just so many things I tell myself I haven't done, and it's just things I want to do now, and I can see it being able to happen.
Yeah.
So, and I
I
go,
mean that's really beautiful. You know, the thing that like my mom was also very obese and really struggled with walking and eventually got a knee replacement, but just the one. And but it was still always a problem. And she had traveled when we were younger, but I had wanted to. I mean, when she retired, like she had dreamed of traveling around the world and me going on trips with her, but I didn't want to because I knew that it was like the physical aspect of it was
right,
just too hard for her and it just wasn't going to be possible. So it was going to be me carrying around two persons worth of luggage and her and pushing a cart, and like it was not going to work. And, and frankly, walking around Paris with cobblestone streets, like just these places are just not designed for people who can't
Yeah.
walk. And so so it was always upsetting that it was like, you're finally retired, you have the money to do these things, and you can't do them. And
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So I really excited for you to be able to do these things, and if we ever get cruises going again or whatever,
Yeah.
yeah, that you'll be able to do that.
Like I keep telling myself, I just have to establish goals that I want to do, because now that I've found out what the problem is, I'm fixing the problem, and from this point on, it's going to be on me to make sure I get out here and go to the gym, I exercise, do what I have to do to make sure I'm walking right, and make sure that I'm taking care of me. This is at this point, at once this next knee is done, this is on me. And
Hmm.
I've got to figure it out. And at this point, carnivore is really, to me, for me, carnivore is, I can feel the difference. Other people can see the difference just in
Hmm.
my demeanor and mentally how I'm acting. So I feel like I've found what works for me. And I tell people about it, even though they think I'm crazy, but I tell people about it and I'm like, that's okay. But but it's working. It's working for me.
So when is the second knee getting done?
March 9th. That's in 2 weeks.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just tell myself, the thing is that I didn't want to wait 3 months to get the second knee done. I said, let's just go ahead and get the second knee done. And then that way this March, March and April is all about healing everything.
Right.
Just I have to go back to work May 3rd. If I can, I can. If I can't, then I'll take another couple weeks, do what I gotta do, but I'm taking care of myself.
Yeah.
I've made a point that I've got to take care of me, because my job will find somebody else when I can't do it. The only people that are going to miss me is my family. So I've got to take care of me. And
Yeah.
I've determined that I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. If I need to take a couple more weeks or another month, then I'll take that month. It'll work. Things will work itself out.
I love that. Love that. Put yourself first.
I have to.
No one else is going to do that for you. Only you can do
Mhm.
it. I am so happy to hear that.
But I'm enjoying carnivore. I'm enjoying it. I'm learning, to keep it simple. I keep it simple. I
Hmm.
definitely keep it simple.
Well, what does a carnivore day look like for you?
It's pretty much, I do a lot of eggs and bacon. I'll do like a beef roast and put it in a crock pot and pick off of that. I Chicken has become that thing that doesn't like me all the time. And it's so funny because I used to eat chicken all the time, but now it doesn't work for me all the time. It has to be cooked a certain way. I'm, it just doesn't work for me all the time. So I don't
Well,
even
in
go,
what way does it not work?
like if I bake it, I can put it in the air fryer. Now the only other way that I've eaten chicken, like I eat the chicken wings, I'm fine with. And it's something about the chicken thigh, which I used to would eat all the time, but I can put it in a soup and I'm fine with it. But if I bake it, it it does not work well. I get very nauseated when I'm eating it. I was
Hmm.
like, I can't finish it. That's the one thing I can put on my plate and not finish.
Hmm.
And I don't know if there's another way to cook it, but I don't even worry about it anymore. I'm like, okay, fine, let's go with something else. So I usually do like I take hamburger And when I put it away in the freezer, I flatten it in the plastic bag. So what I do is I I put in the plastic bags just enough for me and my son so that he can take one bag out if he wants, he can eat it and I eat it. But I usually just take it just the way it is, frozen, take it out of the plastic bag, put it in the oven just the way it is, put salt and pepper on each side of it, and I'm done. I let it cook in the oven.
So
And that
wait, is this like a giant hamburger, or how big
it
is the
I'm trying to think. It's usually it's about this length, but it's flat. So I flatten it down because if you can think of the size of a quart-sized plastic, not a quart, is that a quart? Gallon, a
uh
gallon-sized plastic bag. I usually flatten the meat out to the bag.
So it's like a pancake, a giant
Yeah,
pancake.
it's like a pancake, and then I put it in the oven like that. And
Huh.
I may put some eggs and bacon with it if I eat it, or sometimes I just eat it like
Wait,
that.
how long do you put it in the oven?
Usually about 20-30 minutes because it's so thin. It cooks really quickly. It's not like you got to put it, and it's even frozen. So you
And
don't
you
need
put it at 350 or what?
375.
All right, I'm going to try this. I like this
And
idea.
and I just put it in the oven and call it a day.
So you put, is it like a pound of meat or just whatever came in the package at the
It's
grocery store?
well, I usually like when I do it like that, I usually have bought like a big package of meat. So I usually will once I split it up and I it's usually half of the gallon bag is hamburger meat and I flattened it out.
Okay. All right, I see.
And I
So that
flattened
might
it
even
out.
be 2 pounds,
It might be,
possibly. Yeah.
but I've just put it in the oven and eat it. I try not to make things difficult for myself because I just want to cook it and I want to eat. And like now if I
I
do it,
love that idea though. Yeah, that's like a mix between meatloaf and that could also be a pizza. Some
oh
people,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I hadn't thought about that.
yeah.
Yeah, I hear people talk. I
You
hadn't
can
really
make a
thought about it.
calzone
Yeah.
with a square base like that.
Oh,
Hmm.
I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, I could do
Mhm.
that. I might have to take that.
Mhm.
But I try to make it easy. My son does steaks. He likes to cook steaks. So whenever I buy steaks, he cooks them for me because I don't cook
Mhm.
steaks well. I don't know. They
Yeah.
just come out dry or they just don't cook well. But he can cook it and it tastes really good. So that's usually he's the steak person and I let him do my steaks for me.
Yeah.
But I don't do recipes and I just put some meat in the oven or on the stove. I cook it and I eat it.
Mhm.
That's all I do.
Excellent.
I'm just trying not to
Excellent.
make it difficult for myself.
Mhm.
I just want to be able to say I ate today and I ate what I like, you know. So
Now, are you No, sorry, go ahead.
I have been trying to work on the chopples, but they don't come out right for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they definitely seem like an art.
They don't come out right for me. So I leave them alone.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I was just going to ask, are there any other of the recipes that I see flying around the Facebook group that you partake in, or what?
Well,
I'm
like I
real simple, so I never make, hardly anything special. But
and that
yeah.
I'm the same way unless I just haven't like I tried the chopples. Now I think there's something like a pancake type thing. It looks like I guess it's the eggs and cream cheese and something else. I can't remember what it is. But I have thought about trying that with some I bought some stevia, flavored stevia,
Mhm.
and because it's like a vanilla flavored stevia. So I
Mhm.
said that might be good with that. But then I thought about the fact that for me, things like that cause me to want more sweet.
Mhm.
So I said that might not be something I want to try. Yeah,
Mhm.
unless I'm just doing it without the stevia and it's just something to eat.
Yeah.
So I've thought
I
about
mean,
trying.
I think that's an excellent point. Sweet tastes beget desire for more sweet taste.
Yes.
Like
And that's
it doesn't satisfy the itch, it just makes the itch bigger.
right. And that's what happens with me. And I know it. I at this
Mhm.
point I know that once I start eating something sweet, I'm gonna want something else that's even sweeter. So I try not to even go there. I just leave it alone. I don't really
Mhm.
I don't have sweet stuff in the house. I my son brings stuff here and he eats it. So it's not like it's nothing sitting around the house that I'm gonna eat or anything like that. So I
Yeah.
go, I don't know about that one. Because I won't even buy sugar-free jello. So
Excellent choice.
I just
And someone asked me if Jello was carnivore, and I was like, "Gee, that's a good question. I mean, if you don't have the dye and the sweetener, then yeah, it is carnivore because it's made
but
from, gelatin, which is animal product.
but why would you just want jello with nothing?
I
I
mean,
heard
you
it is
get
a
it when you
thickener.
make Well, you get it when you make, oxtails or,
Oh,
anything when you cook, when you make anything and it's got that broth in it that when you
yeah.
put it in the refrigerator and it gets solid, that's Jello. That's
Oh,
Jello. Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even put
And
those
that's
together.
that stuff that makes it solid, that's the collagen. So that's what helps rebuild your skin, it helps rebuild,
Right.
your tendons and joints. Yeah. So you should be actually eating a lot of jello right now because you're
But
healing and
but
you
my
need that.
kind of jello, not the the,
Well, yeah.
the collagen.
From well, I don't know. I mean, the Jello brand gelatin, like I don't know that that is full of all the good stuff that you need. But yeah, making yourself a good hearty pot of bone broth using
And see, and
bones.
I do that because I started using chicken
Mhm.
feet for that.
Mhm.
And I
The
really
excellent source.
I keep packages of feet in the freezer,
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
make bone broth from that. And
Yeah,
I've
that's an
learned,
excellent source.
yeah, and I'll use that and put like chunks of meat in it and make soup with it and stuff like that. And I do eggs in it and things. I've learned to put stuff in that, and that's what I mean. I make it very, very simple. Some like right now in my refrigerator, I got a couple bowls of just the bone broth. And I'll
Mhm.
take out some of it and put it in the microwave, thaw it out, and put some meat in it, and I'm done.
Nice.
And
Excellent.
I just try to keep it simple because if I try to
Mhm.
do a recipe, I'm in trouble
Mhm.
because I'm gonna add
Yeah.
everything that's in there, everything to it. So some
Yeah, I know. People had got really fancy, especially with that what was that egg
of the
pudding dessert thing? Yeah.
pudding,
That
and
is
I saw that
my
too. I saw that.
beyond what I
I'm
want to
like,
do.
I don't want eggs in a pudding.
Yeah.
But then I started realizing people were doing it like they were making it sweet. They were putting stevia in it and things like that to make it sweet. And
Yeah.
then I said, oh, now I'm really gonna be in trouble. I do something like that. So no,
Yeah.
no, I don't
Yeah.
want that.
So what's next for you? You're healing now. Then this summer, you're gonna get out there and start to be able to walk around. And then in a year, are you going to be walking the Wall of China
I at least want to be able to do a hike. That
Okay.
is my goal. I want to be able to do a hike.
in the
You know,
Swiss Alps?
no, no.
Because no, but you said you're applying for a passport. You
I
want to
do
get
want
out
to
of the
get a
country.
passport. That might
You
be
can
interesting.
hike.
That might be
Yeah.
interesting next summer to be able to like climb something.
Well, I
No,
mean, I'm not talking about climbing Kilimanjaro
no,
or Mount
no.
Everest, but
But
yeah, you
like,
can go hiking. You can like have day trips hiking in the Swiss Alps and,
yep.
drive and then be able to walk a portion.
So that would be interesting. That would be fun. Because that's my
Yeah.
goal. I want to do stuff that I haven't been able to do. Because
Yeah.
I really have not been able to do a lot in the last 2 years. So there's
Mhm.
really a lot that I want to do, And I said, once I can get this walking going good, there's a lot of things, places I want to go, just drive to places and be able to get out my car and walk
Mhm.
and know that it's okay. Not gonna be able to not walk 15 minutes up the road. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Excellent. I am really proud of you and so
You.
happy that this has
Thank
gone so
you.
well. Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, I think that we don't always pat ourselves on the back enough. Maintaining a 100-pound weight loss is tremendous. And most people who lose weight gain it back. So you know exactly what
Mhm.
that's like. And you found a way of eating that reduces your inflammation and it helps you be more optimally healthy. Like that's a big deal.
And
Most
I,
people don't find that.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, and I tell
Hmm.
people about it. I tell people about it. I go, this
Hmm.
is how I'm feeling, especially people I
Hmm.
know that, we've been friends for a while, and I know that you need something. You really need something, but I tell you, and I give you the information, and whether you do anything or ask me any more about it, that's on you. I can't. I'm not gonna be. I just know that because I know how I am, how
Hmm.
I used to be and stuff. When people would tell me things, well, oh yeah, you should do this, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm fine,
Yeah.
But so I tell people about it. I tell them what I'm doing. I've started to stop being scared to tell people, and go, no, I just don't eat that, you
Well,
know.
I dare one of them to berate you or tell you that you got to be vegan or you're not saving the world. I mean, come on. Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
I have the main supporters that I have are the best ones. My son and my niece, my family, they are my main supporters. And so as long as they support me, I'm fine. Especially now where I have to call out for groceries and people got to go pick stuff up for me. I can't get out. But,
Yeah. So,
so
do you find that they're eating more meat now because of you, and do they feel better?
well, no. My son, I try to encourage him, but
Mhm.
he's 24 and he's doing his thing. And I admit what he's doing is working for him now. He's not
Mhm.
doing vegan, which I was really just hoping that he wouldn't go that route and tell him, because I tell him you need protein point blank from meat.
Mhm.
But he does eat more meat now. I've noticed that he eats more, like, especially if I cook it. If I cook roast beef, he's gonna, he will eat, pile on the roast beef, and then put a little bit of vegetables with it.
Mhm.
Now, so I've tried to, like, I catch myself trying to cook more meat to see if he'll eat more of it and less of
That's
the
what I
other
tell
stuff.
my clients. You've got to cook, half more than you think you need because everyone else, when there's cooked beef, is going to want to eat it.
Hmm. And especially if I cook beef, that's what he's just like there. I just can't.
It's like, I smell something good. What's going on?
Yeah, and so he's there, and so I try to, and he's doing his thing right now. Like he's
Mhm.
definitely losing weight on his own, doing it the way he's doing it. And so I just want him to be healthy, and that's really what I try to tell him. And I look at my situation and I tell him, just take care of your body. Just take
Mhm.
care of your body. Do it now while you're young. So when you get to my age, it's not that difficult.
Mhm.
But And I'm
Yeah.
I'm just pretty much pressing him that way just to take care of himself. And I think when he sees me doing, at least trying to do the right thing, he does the right thing the way he knows how to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Well, just adding more meat alone, it can be very helpful, especially when you're, still quite young,
mm-hmm.
because it crowds out some of the other meat or other foods that you would eat that are not, so helpful. So,
Right.
so just as long as he's eating more meat, that's okay.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing. So I just try to make sure I cook it so
Yeah.
that way he'll I cook more than what I know I'm going to eat because I know he'll be come home from school and be like, hey, can I have some of this? Sure, go
Yeah.
ahead and eat
Yeah. That's how it goes. I sure would have been like that. I mean, I love meat. So if I had been given the opportunity to be a carnivore and given enough fat, like I absolutely would have done that.
Yeah.
Now I'm addicted to sugar, so for sure I don't miss it took a little while, but at this point I definitely don't miss vegetables. I realized that when I did miss vegetables, it was really the salad dressings and the condiments and
Mhm.
sauces, which all had sugar in them, that I was missing. And then apart from that, of course, I miss cake and donuts and,
Right.
candy and all of that. But, there's no place for that in any kind of diet. So it's like, I don't need to eat that. So I don't miss anything from the non-carnivore world except sugar.
Yeah. And that's really been what I've noticed, especially these last few months, that I really haven't missed anything. Like if I really want to make myself some ice cream, it's been so funny that I will put together heavy whipping cream and put it in my blender and let it get thick and put a little bit of Splenda in it. And I'll just put that in the freezer. And I'm like, okay, because it was like I wanted that frozen taste.
Right.
And I'm fine. I don't
Right.
even, it doesn't make me go off and want to have a whole bunch of other stuff. But I know that if I really went to the store and got that ice cream, I'm the person who, if you buy a pint of ice cream, if you buy a half a gallon of ice cream, a pint of ice cream is going to be gone in that one sitting.
Yeah.
A half a gallon of ice cream is going to take me 2 days,
Yeah.
but it's going to be gone. And so I just know that it's no, it, I've learned how to do it that way. To if I just feel like I just want it, and then it kills the taste for it after that. I don't, I've just had
Yeah.
a little half a cup of heavy whipping cream and some Splenda, and I'm fine because it was frozen.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do.
Hey, that's okay. And I was just interviewing a guy yesterday, and he said he eats butter like ice cream. And I think he does something similar, putting it in the freezer and sort of, getting that texture and everything. And it
Hmm.
was kind of like, you know,
You
yeah,
got to do what you got to do.
yeah. I mean, I started thinking, gee, maybe I should be doing something like make my ghee, add some salt, put the whole thing in the freezer, and then spoon
Oh,
it out like ice cream. It's kind of like, I don't know. I've never done that. Maybe that would be quite good. Maybe
see,
I'm missing out.
yeah. I don't know about the butter, but I do put some of the butter. I
It's
do
not any
put,
different than the cream, really. It's
yeah, it's
just,
not. And I do put a little butter in the cream. When I whip it up, I put it all in
yeah,
the freezer. It
yeah,
could be, it might be something to try. Just do the butter,
yeah,
put a little
yeah.
Splenda in it, whip it up.
I would skip the Splenda for me because frankly, I do find butter kind of sweet. Um,
Okay.
so for me, like I would say my biggest treat meal is scrambled eggs in butter with sauteed scallops in butter. And I find butter to be sweet tasting. Eggs are also sweet tasting to me, and scallops are very sweet tasting to me.
See, now scallops
So
is sweet for me, but I never.
they have carbs.
Yeah, but I guess I,
So yeah, but my taste has become
yeah,
so discerning now that, anything
you
that has
taste.
a little bit of sweet,
Yeah,
I can taste it.
you can taste.
So for me, like that is a treat meal, like scrambled eggs with scallops in butter.
Mm. See, that does sound good though, and I love
It sounds
scallops.
excellent. I post those pictures on my Instagram. It's excellent.
Yeah, it
So
sounds.
when I feel like I want to treat myself, that's what I do.
It's the scallops and the eggs.
In
Yeah, I
butter.
can see that. Yep.
Hmm. Yeah.
See, and I do it with the heavy whipping cream. The heavy
Hmm.
whipping cream. I do. Yeah, just put it in the
Yeah.
freezer and it's frozen.
Yeah.
It gets a little soft. It gets soft as you're eating it, and then it's
Yeah.
fine. But I
And
just
this is what I learned too in studying about emotional eating is everyone does it. So the expectation shouldn't be that we never do it, but that it is limited and the type of food that we choose to do it with
right,
doesn't cause, further damage. So
right,
finding a favorite meal like the one I describe or you getting the steak or whatever thing that you like is a great way to treat yourself without causing damage.
right. And that's what I'm learning. I go is I get mad at myself sometimes because I waited this long to really start working on me, but I go, well, you know what? At least I figured it out. And I figured it out before my health got really bad because I know that it could be worse. I know that there's so many other things that could be going on with me right now that I go, at least I figured it out before then.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I'm working on it. I tell everybody I am a work in progress.
exactly. Exactly. Well, this has been an amazing
This
conversation,
is
and
just
I am,
fun.
yeah, absolutely. And I am so proud of you. I mean, you've really come a long way, and
And
you're
feel
very
good.
inspirational.
I feel good about it. I feel like it's just going to go up from here. It's going to get better and better. This time next year, I'll be traveling.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, I hopefully the world is opened up. I think it
Yeah.
surely will open up somewhat so that,
Mhm.
travel is possible. But yeah, that'll be great, go see another country, see how people live, see what the world
Yeah.
is like in other places. That's awesome. And be able to walk while you
Yeah.
do it.
And that's
Yeah.
my thing is my thing for me for this year is just to be able to walk where I want to go. If
Hmm.
I want to go into the mall, I can walk around the mall. If I want to just walk around a trail, I can walk around trail. That's all I want to be. Right now,
Yeah.
I want the simple things that everybody can do, but I can't,
Hmm.
without hurting. So that's my year. This year is just really getting me together, and
Hmm.
carnivore is really been. I feel like I've learned my body by doing carnivore. I've really learned what does what to my body by doing carnivore.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, then. Well, everybody, you heard it from Claudette. This is an amazing, amazing way to learn your body, to give your body an opportunity to heal, and to get stronger and really be your optimal self. So I encourage you to give it a try the diet. If you need some help, reach out to me. I do coaching, and I'm actually going to be starting a carnivore boot camp to really just provide that like accountability and support within a small group of people, so that you can get through that first 30 days. So definitely reach out to me about that, and I'll be talking to you soon, and I'll be back with another interview hopefully next week.